Hi, welcome to Ask the Staff using the United Through Reading app Beyond Deployment. I am one of your hosts, Laura Steiner, our Director of Outreach and Engagement Strategy, and I'll introduce my colleague, Bessie Ostrander, our Program Coordinator for Hampton Roads.
Hey, I'm Bessie Ostrander, the program coordinator for the Hampton Roads area, and I'm looking forward to talking to you guys today about the benefits of using United Through Reading outside of deployments. So, our mission, United Through Reading, is to strengthen military families' literacy, emotional bonds, and well-being through the power of reading together at every age, no matter the distance. And part of our vision is a nation of thriving military families whose strength is amplified by a shared love of reading. Some of our different programs that we have is we have a few different ones. So it's not just one thing or another. We have book distribution. That's a fun part of my job where I get to help provide free and open access to new, diverse, high interest, and high quality books to U.S. veteran and military families across the globe. We also provide literacy resource distribution. We provide effective, useful, and sought after literacy resources with free and open access to the military and veteran family community, and to be their go-to resource for literacy products. And then the fun part of it is our storytime recordings that we're going to be talking about today. We provide free and open access to personal on-demand storytime recordings for all U.S. veteran and military families, no matter the distance.
One of the questions that we're often asked is why shared story time matters. And we're here to tell you that recording videos on demand is a great way to add value to your children's lives and to ensure that connection that is created through a shared story time is continued no matter where the parents are. Um, Connecting through story time helps maintain routine. It generates relationship growth and is a great opportunity to use as a springboard for conversations that can help, grow as children mature into teenagers and young adults. Next slide. So there are a lot of different reasons why kids and teens need a read aloud. I think we're all familiar with the bedtime routine and other opportunities to make read alouds. And what I like to say is when all else fails in our day, read a story. So next, we're going to go to the next slide and begin a brainstorm on our favorite times to use that on-demand recorded read aloud story from our service member parent in our everyday life.
Yeah, so something that we thought would be a good idea was to bounce some ideas off of each other, and just talk about how else we can use story time. How else can we use recordings just outside of the traditional, the service members going on deployment, and we need to do this, so we have it. Um, some of my favorite things, that Lori has mentioned is bedtime. Whether the service member is home, working late, stuck at work, just needs a minute to himself or herself, bedtime is always a great one. Need a minute. Mom and dad need a minute. Um,
I
a
need a
parent,
minute.
a parent, parent time out. We'll call it that, parent time out. Um, you also touched on just like a calming moment, when they're overstimulated. Sometimes the story can regulate their emotions, because they don't have to think about anything. They're just sitting there and they're listening. So it's not requiring, the same things, and you're not asking them what they want or what they want to do. We're just, here's a story. Let's go ahead and read it.
One of
And
my favorite times to use the story time recordings are at the end of a bad day. I think all kids have great days and all kids have bad days, hopefully fewer of the bad days. But when my kids come home from school after a really tough day, one of the things that we like to do is have that shared story time and the ability to take that on-demand story and have it just to themselves and have that connection with our favorite service member is a great way to just put a positive spin at the cap of that day.
for sure. And then I think a lot of people just associate it with a deployment, when it doesn't have to be like the parent's gone for 4 to 6 months, right? Like if you're gone for one night, that's enough time to kind of still want to supplement and stay with that routine. So like even just having the recordings available for short trips. We have a couple chime-ins here. Mandy let us know a 2 a.m. wake up when the child misses their service member, so middle of the night, or an early morning wake up when mom or dad needs to go back to bed. That 4 a.m., 4 or 5 a.m. That's still kind of middle of the night. Ooh, Melanie said long plane rides or car rides. Definitely. Emily said unexpectedly not home for bedtime. So that's good too when, you think that you're going to be back and again, the routine has gone off track, but you can kind of bring it back to the routine by still having that recording. So you're kind of still doing it. When one sibling plays sports and the other doesn't, right? That's huge in my house. Like no one is going to bed at the same time. In a perfect world, it's bedtime, but I would say out of the five of us, everyone has a different bedtime.
Similar to that, one of my favorite ways to use it was when I had a baby, a toddler, and grade schoolers. It allowed me to give everyone a bedtime story at their level simultaneously.
hmm Or like kind of piggybacking on that, like different favorite books, right? Like someone's obsessed with one book and they just want to watch it over and over. And that's kind of the cool thing about our app is there's no limit to how many that I know of. No, no limit to how many recordings you can have in there saved. Crystal says anytime is a good time to watch. We agree, Chris. Emily says special days, first day of school, birthdays, holidays. So yeah, even if you have that recording, if the service member knows that they're going to miss something, they're going to miss Valentine's Day or Easter, just kind of planning ahead.
Mhm.
And then Tanya reminded us that it can also be used with extended family members, so they can also see the service member, so we can share it with everybody. I think you're right. At any, like, people love story time at any age. I feel like, grandma's still like watching their son or, read a book
Mhm.
and Mandy said it's also a great memory or keepsake as the child gets older.
Yes, I think that having that, it's almost like a little time capsule. I know my kids enjoy not just watching the videos that their father made this summer, but watching the ones he has made previously because it allows them to sort of go back in time. Some of my kids still watch baby books, when they just sort of need that touchstone and, to an earlier time in their lives.
Yeah. Tanya said, use it as part of a major milestone in a child's life that you might be missing. Record the driver's ed manual to still be part of the big things when they're away. Right, because there's no limit on what you can read or record. It doesn't have to be a traditional book.
Studying for the SATs.
That made me laugh in my head, like explaining algebra
Oh my
problems.
gosh.
Like, dad's deployed, mom can't do math. Can someone help here?
Yes. And we've used grandparents or uncles and aunts making recordings to help with math homework and reviewing foreign language homework, world
Mhm.
language homework.
Oh yeah, that was Melanie had said a little earlier to help learn a new language because you can record a book in any language you want.
Hmm. I know our family is a multilingual household, and it's a great way to keep the children connected in the languages that I do not speak when their other parent is away.
Mhm. Emily said high school required reading, so something that's,
Hmm.
an assigned book, not even high school, middle school. We've
Yeah,
seen, yeah.
summer school, like the summer reading list.
Yep. I think these are all great ideas.
Excellent. Does anyone have any other ads? So I think, Tanya, if you want to go to the next slide. Our biggest takeaway here is that every recording made is an investment in, in that child, in the family, in that connection. And, obviously there's the utilization during deployment and then also temporary duty. Just because we're only gone a night or a week doesn't mean that child doesn't need that on-demand story, but really it's in the everyday living. There are moments throughout any day, no matter what the family looks like, no matter what they have going on, where having that on-demand story can really add value. All right. And then Bessie, do you want to close us out?
Yeah, so I think that this was a great short and sweet session where we really could go over ways to, I don't want to say challenge, but just to open the narrative for when you are at events and you're meeting people and you're talking about United Through Reading, and the first thing they say is, "Well, we don't have any deployments planned, or we don't have anything coming up. Like we don't need this, but thank you," right? Open the narrative, talk about all the other ways that a family could benefit from story time. And we just thank you guys for your commitment to shared story time and spreading the word.
Thank you and have a great day.